PM, and this is gonna be like kind of like an old school type review where you got to read the title and you'll figure out what I'm talking about from the title and stuff. Right now, you guys know I'm having internet problems with PS5, overpowering everything. So uh, I don't know when that's gonna get fixed because usually I would have like intros and stuff like that for the game that I'm in question. So today, this is my experience with Bayonetta. Okay, the first Bayonetta game on the PlayStation because Nintendo does all the I think they do all yeah, they do all the Bayonetta stuff after the first one. But anyways, give me a sec. Let me share a stream, then we'll start. All right. Sorry for the all right. Sorry for the bright light if it parades, but yeah. So Bayonetta, where do I begin? So my brother, my brother Lubit, you guys know Louis. He loves all sorts of video games, and one of those video games happens to be Bayonetta, right? And my brother hasn't really been a Bayonetta fan since the beginning, and I knew about it since like the Wii U era and stuff when it first dropped and came out. Because I remember when Dashi made a gameplay video on it and stuff, and other people did too. And at the time, on the Wii U, I never really understood. Um, excuse me, I never really understood like the whole appeal of Bayonetta. Keep in mind, at this point in time, this was way before I knew what a Devil May Cry was, way before I cared about God of War in this time period that I'm talking about currently, right? Uh, I didn't really care for it. I just thought it was cool that other people were playing it, and I thought that was going to be enough for me when, you know, doing these things. I thought, hey, maybe playing, maybe just watching Bayonetta here and there or memorizing it or whatever was cool. Fuck it. I don't know. Something, right? So many years later, like I mentioned, my brother decides to pick it up and start playing it. And, I think that was, I can't remember if it was my brother's first, like, hack and slash game, but my brother loves, and I mean loves Bayonetta 1. He's always wanted to play Bayonetta 2. And I don't know about 3, but he's always wanted to play 2. And he's always complaining to me that the second game, it kind of pisses him off that the second game isn't on, the PlayStation, even though Sony could have benefited if they brought the team of Bayonetta on board, but it's all good. It's whatever. But I remember my brother was just going on and on and on about the Bayonetta is so good, Bayonetta this, Bayonetta that. And I never understood it, because I just thought Bayonetta was just all right. So because of like Louis hyping up Bayonetta like it's the next gen shit, I decided to give Bayonetta a try. And by the way, Lucas, welcome to stream. And keep in mind, right, I didn't really make it that far in Devil May Cry or any other hack and slash. The only hack and slash games I really gave a fuck about, like, in terms of playing them, finishing them, going all the way through, was the God of War series, like the OG God of War games, like God of War 1, 2, 3, and the two PSP games. Those are the ones I really cared about in terms of hack and slash and finishing the job and whatnot and so on and so forth, right? So when I booted up Bayonetta, I didn't know what the hell I was getting into because, to be honest, to explain Bayonetta, right? When you get into Bayonetta, you're not in it for the story of Bayonetta. You're into the game for the sex appeal of the main character whenever, she's on screen. You're also there whenever you want to go ahead and go shoot shit, go fight shit. It's not all about the horniness, obviously. It's about, like, kicking ass as a badass, demonic witch chick, that kind of runs around and beats up a lot of fucking enemies for no reason. The story makes no fucking sense, right? For me, it doesn't make any sense because I just did not pay attention to it. I remember when I first booted it up, right? I was sitting there like, what the fuck is this, right? Uh, I just saw this chick freaking do this weird thing on my fucking screen, beat up enemies and all that other sort of stuff like that or whatever. And I didn't understand all that much what was going on. And I knew immediately that um, that Bayonetta is one of those games that you would. Bayonetta is one of those games that you don't really think about the story for. You just let the gameplay take you on a ride, and you know you go along with it, right? And usually when it comes to games, I like games that don't really focus on the story all that much sometimes. Like for example, like Super Mario Brothers. I love that game because like, Mario's simple, fun, clean gameplay, simple, fun, clean story, whatever. The story isn't too focused on, but the gameplay is everything or whatever. It's cool. I enjoy that type of stuff a lot of time. So when I got into Bayonetta and not thinking about the story, thinking about the gameplay, I loved Bayonetta most when I was like fighting enemies and stuff like that, like fighting enemies, doing weird kick shooting combos and all that other sort of stuff. Like I thought the hack and slash portion of the game was fun, beating up enemies and with cool music in the background. I liked that aspect of Bayonetta. And I can't lie, the music for Bayonetta is actually pretty damn solid. I remember when I got into the game immediately, one thing for sure I definitely can say about Bayonetta that I really enjoyed was the gameplay, was, the gameplay, the hack and slash gameplay aspect of it anyway, and the music. That was the two things I immediately fell in love with Bayonetta, right? Was, the gameplay was kind of smooth, the music, Jesus, I was not expecting it to be so dang good, right? When getting into it, I thought that was going to carry me through the whole game, right? Until a certain bit happened, right? And what I mean by a certain bit is usually what happens, what sticks a landing, like okay. Usually when I play a game, I don't like the fact that I get lost so easily or disoriented easily or distracted easily from like the main objective. Or like when I don't know what to do, and sure I can look up YouTube videos, but a part of me was like I felt like Bayonetta in general for me just wasn't gonna last because if it's anything that I know, Bayonetta has like a similar design, a similar philosophy to Devil May Cry. And keep in mind, Devil May Cry, great game or something like that, but it was never for me because whenever I'm not doing like the hacking and slashing of enemies, figuring out puzzles and figuring out like how to navigate their world and figure out where to go next. I've always found these bits in those hack and slash games to be a little bit boring, to be a little bit like me just not really being fully in it. And I know it's kind of funny me saying that when I loved God of War for all those things. I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to be invested in like Bayonetta and all these and like just Bayonetta in general when I'm not hacking and slashing with good music in the back. And if I'm not even understanding the story, you know what I mean, whenever I see it show up or me not making sense of it, I'm gonna kind of get bored of the game because it's like whenever you make a hack and slash game, I feel like you gotta have like not extremely good story, but I feel like you gotta have a story that's kind of hooking me all the way through. Bayonetta is just all about, you know, demon witch chick going around destroying bad demons. I mean, she's bad herself, but I didn't understand it. I just didn't understand, right? And it's like due to my lack of understanding and due to me not really liking the gameplay outside of hacking and slashing, this game was very short lived for me. Like I think I only played like an hour or two before I just ended up stopping and just kind of questioning like what was so hype about Bayonetta in the first place, Like in my eyes, I just don't see it. I'm not trying to say it's like the worst video game of all time or something or it's a shit game. I mean, it's a shit game for me personally, but for you, it ain't gonna be a shit game. It can be different. But for me, it ended up being kind of like a shitty game and kind of a waste of my time. It felt like I wasn't having fun after a period of time, just being lost in the world, not understanding how to navigate through this train section. And after trying to navigate how to do that, it's like, what the fuck is this yellow brick wall right in front of me that I can't really necessarily break with my moves? I don't know. They're giving me like this time trial like shit, and I'm just so confused and kind of just put off by it that I kind of just stopped playing like somewhat through that and was like, I don't think Bayonetta's for me, man. I genuinely think Bayonetta's just not for me. So I turned off the game and called it quits at that, and haven't really picked up Bayonetta since. Let me know what y'all experience with Bayonetta is, and I hope it's better than mine, because you know, and I'm kind of, at least I tried the game out. I tried Bayonetta out. It wasn't like I picked it up for 4 minutes, said it's too woke, and put it down. I tried to play the game with as little understanding of the story or little understanding of everything that's going on as possible. Tried to enjoy it to the best of my ability and just fucking couldn't. I legit couldn't. And anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I know it's not crazy. I know it's not like lore heavy or anything, but I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I'll see you guys in a little bit. God bless y'all. I'm gonna do another my experience video, just kind of make up for this one, I guess.